Just 18 days out, and both nominees are back on the trail. After an interesting post-debate reunion last night, there was a handshake this time, unlike at the debate. Details on that in a moment. But first, they're pushing the battlegrounds. Trump held rallies earlier in North Carolina and Pennsylvania and didn't let up on his opponent with just 2.5 weeks to go.
Hillary Clinton is the most corrupt politician ever to seek the office of the presidency. Well, let's do this. November 8th, let's win. You're going to look back at this election and say this is by far the most important vote you've ever cast for anyone at any time.
Hillary's in Ohio. She's at an early voting event right now in Cleveland. You're looking at that live. Now let's talk about one thing I just heard in the previous hour from John Roberts, our reporter who's on the Trump campaign trail. Eric, apparently tomorrow morning, Donald Trump is going to give a big speech in which he is going to unveil a new contract with America sort of thing. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
I think it's a great idea, and you know, where's it been? I get it, but never. There's still 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks left. You can still time to turn the big ship around. And he said something today in North Carolina I thought was very interesting. He said, "When I become president, we're going to create an America's desk." America's desk meaning he would call them every day to find out what's going on in the job market, where we need help, where are we lagging, where are we winning.
Like the LA Times tracking poll.
But I got to tell you, what a great idea that was. Like, why hasn't anyone else thought of that? And that's where he really should be, trying innovative new ideas that you would do if you were a businessman running the country, because that's what got him here. Now you got 18 days left, or 18 days and a couple hours left. Go get it now. Go do that stuff.
One of the things, Kimberly, I looked at before we came to air was where the campaigns are going to be this weekend. And it looks to me like it's pretty traditional. You've got Donald Trump and Pence in Pennsylvania and New Hampshire. You have in Ohio. And then the Clintons are going to be in Florida, Ohio. Barack Obama will be in Nevada. So to me, it doesn't look like there's a big push to expand the map, at least on the Clinton side. They're not doing a big push in Georgia or Arizona. So they must still be worried enough about those other states that they want to try to bring it home there.
Well, I think it makes sense, right, to shore it up. I mean, what they have to go on is obviously the national polls that we've all been talking about, but also their own internal tracking polls. So perhaps that's a little bit of a window for them, for the individual campaigns to say, hey, this is where our time is best spent. So it's about, assessing where that they can put their assets, where they're going to get maximum velocity and movement from that kind of devotion of resources. So, and these are important states, and specifically for Hillary, they've got to focus, lock that up, and before they try and stretch.
Greg, it's been a long campaign, obviously, a year and a half. We've got 18 days left, which feels like a long time. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a little bit tired, not just the candidates, but maybe the voters. How do they keep energy and interest?
Well, first of all, 3 weeks is a long time. I did some research. It's 21 days.
Okay.
A Chinese firm once built a 57-story skyscraper in 15 days.
Is it still standing?
Yes, it is. It's beautiful. It's prefab. So Trump can definitely catch up. He can still do some things. I'm always interested in this really big push by Hillary and Donald Trump for early voting. Like, get out and vote now. And it's because they fear that early voters might die before November.
Well, and I mean, actually, there's just a report just now, Juan, that came in right before air. Like, I was really paying attention in the last 5 minutes. That Republicans are up 1.8% over Democrats in early voting in Florida. What do you make of that?
That's fine, but I mean, what you also see in early voting is that I think it's already 3 million people have already voted, and Democrats are up in terms of turnout, which is what you look at. So they're up in turnout in places like Arizona, Utah, Nevada. You think, what is going on? But that's good news for Democrats as compared to 2012 is what I'm talking about. The second thing I noticed today was that Trump's political director left. So I'm not understanding why.
Well, he said he was stepping away a little bit.
Yeah, 19 days before the election. But I don't know. I think
we should stay tuned because maybe there's more to come on that.
For personal reasons, he said.
Tell me, what do you think?
I'm not going to say.
What? Break it, Perino.
No, I heard gossip, Dana. And I'm not going to spread it.
Is that embargo till 6 p.m.
But
Eastern?
Just stay tuned. No.
If we say please?
I'll tell you in the commercial break.
That's not fair.
Because it's not fair to this person if it's not true.
It's not fair. I'll tell you what's not fair. It's not fair to Donald Trump. I mean, you're taking away, this was a Paul Manafort stalwart guy that came in and was trying to organize and put some people in the game on the ground, and it just doesn't seem to have happened, and that's a really telling
You don't want to
factor.
talk about the polls of the numbers that Dana just cited in
No,
Florida?
in Florida.
But
the fact is, I will. Let's look. Okay, here are the polls.
Bowling, do you have a whiteboard by chance?
Right now, you have
IBD, the most accurate poll in the 2012 election cycle. Now is Trump up by 1 or 2 points? Did you see that?
Where's
IBD.
Anyway,
I had that one.
Anyway.
Antibiotics. Anybody takes the IBD.
Anyway,
right?
IBS.
Back to reality.
You still have it.
At the moment, she's up. What we see here is she's up in 5 of the 12 battlegrounds, 6 of the 12 battlegrounds, 11 battlegrounds, I should say. Colorado, Michigan, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Wisconsin. It's to the point where if you look at the electoral map, which is where the decision really gets made, she doesn't even need right now to win Ohio or Iowa.
Margin of error.
Yeah, right.
Well,
there you go.
maybe we
Let's
can
do the
lighten
math
it up
on
a
that
little
again.
bit.
I'd love to. I think you owe me dinner, by the way.
I think that we
Please.
want to talk about last night's speech. This was the Al Smith dinner. Didn't go well, really, for anybody. Take a look.
This is entertaining, though.
Great to be here with 1,000 wonderful people, or as Hillary calls it, her largest crowd of the season.
After listening to your speech, I will also enjoy listening to Mike Pence deny that you ever gave it.
We can actually be civil to each other. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me."
People look at the Statue of Liberty and they see a proud symbol. Donald looks at the Statue of Liberty and sees a 4. Maybe a 5 if she loses the torch and tablet and changes her hair.
Hillary isn't laughing as much as the rest of us. All of the jokes were given to her in advance of the dinner by Donna Brazil.
Look at this dais. We got Charlie Rose and Maria Bartiromo and Chris Matthews and Gayle King and Norah O'Donnell and Katie Couric. This counts as a press conference, right?
So, Greg, you were watching last night, and you are a good critique of these type of things. What'd you make of it?
It started out fine, and then it went bad faster than a deviled egg in sunlight. There was something that happened. It kind of got tense. It was like a wedding toast where the groom's dad, who might have had too much to drink, starts talking about how the bride's not as hot as he would like. It was it got weird. There was something interesting there when Donald basically looked around and said, "You guys used to like me, now you don't." That was good because it also shows that almost all of his friendships are transactional, and once they don't need him anymore. They don't need him. But it was when his jokes started losing their punch towards the end, and it started getting a bit weird. And you could see the facial expressions behind him. It would look like they were watching a German art film. But the real winner was Maria Bartiromo's white gloves.
Gloves
were insane.
Stop.
In every picture, you saw her gloves.
You might not have seen it, but 5Fan Photoshop has just done a new photo of all of us at this table wearing white gloves today. So
I like it.
I was thinking about
Well, where
that.
is
You don't
it?
wear
So
white
I
gloves
didn't get-
after
Is that
Labor
a
Day.
call for?
No, not actually.
Oh, I thought she looked glamorous, like
did.
she was going to Monaco.
Movie star.
So I didn't,
Fabulous.
Eric, we were
Grace
talking
Kelly.
about this earlier. I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was doing that online book signing thing. But then I saw the Twitter traffic about it, so I read the speeches this morning. And I have to say, reading them, they were pretty good. They weren't that bad, but maybe it was in the delivery that it made people feel uncomfortable.
Totally in the delivery, and also the reaction from the room. When Donald got some boos towards the end, there's some things that he said that they didn't like, and they started to boo. It changed his delivery too. He got a little nervous about it, so he started to press a little bit. But also, Hillary had some lines that got not necessarily boos, but groans, and it changed her delivery as well. And I agree with Greg. The first part of each of their deliveries were fantastic. Donald's best line
was about his wife.
About his wife,
Right.
about the
Melania.
speech, and it was self-deprecating.
Obama.
They should have just done that from top to bottom and walked away.
It's
But
not easy.
Maybe it's because these two people have massive egos, and it's hard for them to say
Be
something.
self-deprecating.
Yes.
It's not easy to give a humorous speech
Is
either.
it
That's a
wrong
high
that
bar.
I enjoyed this? Is
No,
something-
you can definitely be a dissenting voice.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't know. I mean, I read it after, I watched it during, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I was bored or something.
I
thought it
was
pretty
watching
entertaining.
the great Eric Bowling, who was hosting at 11. And I thought
I
to
saw that
myself,
too.
oh, let me see how this goes. And I couldn't, I mean, this is horrible. I've never seen an
Geraldo
Al
didn't
Smith
like it.
dinner like this, where they're booing the guy. They were booing. Let's not get away from it. It's unbelievable. He thought, let me just say, he thought this was his audience. He's in his home city. He knows all the players.
I don't think he thought that.
I think he must have thought that because he thought he could get away with this, Dana. And when he starts with the stuff about you got fired from the Watergate Commission,
no, I think what it was,
she's mocking Catholic, it went over like a lead balloon.
I think they misread their audience, and they wrote a speech that would have gone over very well at one of his rallies.
Yeah, but this wasn't a rally.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That might have been the mistake, but that
it was a
at
huge
a rally,
mistake because he got
well,
egg
it got
all over
huge
his
numbers.
Face.
I mean, I don't know. I thought he got a lot left too.
She did not.
She pivoted about halfway through the speech and started talking about she took a shot. I was like shocked. Like, how could you be that disrespectful to the guy standing right there? It wasn't tongue in cheek. It was like, oh, I finally can hear from a real billionaire.
That was a great joke.
I thought that worked.
On paper, it was a great joke, but the way it was delivered, it just felt so nasty.
Yeah, those are not easy to
Melania
give.
Sitting right there. I mean,
but they did share a laugh
that's
with Cardinal Dolan, and they did shake hands. That was nice.
He's told her that he's going to put her in jail, and you think that her making fun of his money is worse?
Listen, I didn't think either one should have gone there last night.
Yeah.
There was no grace. Let me say, there was an opportunity for him, especially after the big debate fiasco, but he didn't do it.
The only grace was before dinner.
Check it out.
And everybody left cross. We'll be right
I'm not
back.
even going to tell you what I was. I'll watch O'Reilly tonight because he went to the dinner and he's going to have some thoughts on it. Next, the battle to drive ISIS from Mosul claims the life of an American serviceman. We're going to take you live to Iraq ahead. And then later, it's Facebook Friday. If you have a question for us, go to our page and post it. Facebook.com/the5FNC. We'll be back in a minute.
So much for the war in Iraq being over and no boots on the ground. We are back at war there, helping local forces drive out ISIS from Mosul, the oil-rich city of Kirkuk and elsewhere. One U.S. service member was killed yesterday by a roadside bomb. 34-year-old Chief Petty Officer Jason Finan of Anaheim, California. Fox's Benjamin Hall spent the day on the front lines, and he joins us live from Erbil, Iraq with the latest. Benjamin.
Yeah, hi, Kimberly. Yeah, as you say, this battle has been going on for the last few days, and there are about 100,000 forces involved, Kurdish and Iraqis combined. They have been moving forward slowly, but very slowly. And today we saw ISIS do something strange. They launched a counterattack deep inside the country, almost as a response to the territory they've lost. Now, that happened in a city called Kirkuk, and early this morning, they went in with armed assault rifles and explosives. They were said to be sleeper cells in that city, and the attacks focused on government buildings and a power station, killing at least a dozen, injuring scores more. The governor said that they were people who had been waiting to carry out these attacks. And what is feared now is that as ISIS loses the city of Mosul, they will morph, they will change into an insurgency, one that launches attacks around the country, indeed around the world. Meanwhile, about 100 miles back in Mosul, the oldest Christian settlements in the world were finally being liberated after 2 years under ISIS control. Finally today, Barella was cleared and a flag raised over its church. Much of the fighting has been around Christian villages over the last couple of days, but I've also been speaking to other Christian families here, and they say that they just don't feel safe around here anymore. They had to defend their own towns, their own villages. The government didn't help them. Their churches are destroyed. So many factors playing a part at the moment. The battle for Mosul going on, the US helping with coalition airstrikes with special forces, and yet this small pocket of ISIS fighters, about 5,000 in the city itself, managing to hold on. We're going to see this battle get a lot more bloody. We're going to see it get a lot harder as they reach the dense urban center, which is ahead of them. So you're right, US forces back helping this offensive at the moment, and we'll be here keeping you up to date as it gets ever worse and ever closer to the city itself.
All right, thanks, Benjamin. Be safe. All right, Dana, so this is something perhaps people didn't think that we would be seeing right here before the presidential election. U.S., troops, boots on the ground.
It's a lot of controversy around this. One of the questions is, why did we wait so long and it got to be so bad? And I think that we have a call for a soundbite from General Petraeus. I don't know if you would be willing to play that now. We could react to it. Oh, we don't have it?
No.
One of the things he said is that it will be a tough fight, of course, but he said, but that's not the real battle. That comes after the Islamic State has cleared out of the provinces, because how do you hold those areas? And there's also been some criticism of the United States and the government of Iraq for the telegraphing that this battle was coming. And I just think it's important for people to remember that sometimes when you're on the battleground, one of the things that you have to do is you want to encourage the rebels or the people there who were protecting their cities and their churches that help is coming. So hang tight. You want to discourage the enemy. Maybe hopefully they will leave, and you want to warn people ahead of time so that they can get out of the way and be safe.
And then you have a situation here, Eric, where obviously it's very important trying to get Mosul back. I mean, that's right up your field, oil.
Mosul, Kirkuk also, where in the north, where there's some oil production, and don't forget that's close to the Turkish border, so that one would be more easily defended. I think that would be okay. You also have to worry about the southern part of Iraq, where the massive oil fields, and then the access to the Persian Gulf, where the oil can actually be shipped off and away and into ISIS. If ISIS ever got control of those, they'd have a massive amount of money financing behind them. So I think these are battles that they have to win. They have to circle Kirkuk. They have to circle the oil fields in the south. I guess, you know, I understand we're being helped by the Iranians in some of this. I think we need to just lock this down and make sure that when Iraq is liberated, it stays in Iraqi control, not in Iranian control.
Well,
absolutely.
There'll be a scramble there, and it's going to be very important to secure it.
And I think General Petraeus said this earlier, that if you stay in, if you have American troops on the ground staying there and guiding it, it does nothing but then inspire what remains of ISIS to reconstitute in order to get at us. So the thing is, the good news is that you can get the Iraqi forces, you can get people, as he described it, retrained, reconstituted to engage in this fight against ISIS. This is not the United States literally putting massive force. We've got 5,000 people, I think, in the area, and we're putting people in there now to help others fight what should be their war, and I think it's good news.
Well, perhaps if we did it right to begin with, we wouldn't be in this mess with a proper status of forces agreement that was honored. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, the great news about this is Dabiq. I mean, this is all based on a 7th century prophecy that the Muslims and the Christians were going to fight in Dabiq. They have their magazine was called Dabiq. They had to since change the name of their magazine because they got their asses kicked and they're now losers. The whole point of this is to destroy the myth of ISIS. That this is not some kind of prophesized battle that's going to end in a universal earth, Muslim earth. It's not going to happen. And it's important that we have some useful propaganda. We need to show this happening so people realize that ISIS is defeated, and it must be defeated, and we must allow our military to do what is necessary to eradicate and purge Earth of this vile, vile disease. This is the most important battle in our recent era. In 50 years, you have a radical toxic doctrine that is directly against progress. We are progress, they are poison. We must destroy them.
I'm just going to end it there, right? Done. Hours after Hillary Clinton dodges a question at the debate about pay-to-play, emails emerged that may prove she personally took part in a deal to get money from a government her own State Department considered corrupt. Details next.
New batch of hacked emails put out by WikiLeaks is creating trouble for the Clinton campaign. Some may prove that the secretary took part in what some suspect was a pay-for-play deal to get money for her family's foundation. One email reveals the candidate herself involved in talking about a $12 million check from the King of Morocco, ultimately agreeing to go to the country to speak. Her aides didn't want her to go. In one message, Huma Abedin wrote that Hillary, quote, created this mess, end quote. In another, she said, quote, no matter what happens, she'll be in Morocco hosting the Clinton Global Initiative on May 5 through 7, 2015. Her presence, a condition for the Moroccans to proceed. So there's no going back on this. Important that you know the background, end quote. Now, Hillary ultimately did not attend, but Bill and Chelsea did go to Morocco. So, Greg, let me start with you. She didn't go. Is it the case, I think it's like a month after she leaves as Secretary of State and the campaign's about to start, and ultimately they decide, this looks a little bad.
Fishy. Yeah. You know what's great? This is a reversal. Someone threw Hillary under the bus for once. Huma Abedin probably just lost a cushy job at the White House because of that email. And this, I go back to, is the nature of email. It's the place where you can rag on your boss. I mean, it's a place where you're supposed to have these private conversations and talk about the people that drive you crazy. We have to remind ourselves, we said that was hacked. It's theft. Podesta was hacked. His stuff was stolen by Russia's GRU military intelligence agency using a fake login page. So this is actual real espionage. The problem with the way we report this story, and I say we, cable news, we never report how we found these emails, only what we find in them. And that's an injustice.
Kimberly.
I believe we just corrected that injustice.
Thank you,
Frederick.
Kimberly.
And for that, you will receive no Emmy, but we are grateful.
Drinks later at the veranda?
Probably not. Maybe next week.
Bring the gloves.
Bring the gloves.
The gloves and the pay for play. Yeah.
Kimberly, so the question is this confusion with Mrs. Clinton saying, well, I'll be out of office by then and I want to go and it helps this foundation which does good work? Or is it, in fact, suggestion that, you know what, she used her influence as Secretary of State to get the King of Morocco, actually his oil company, to give money to her family foundation?
I mean, I think you know the answer, right? I mean, you actually presented both sides. We appreciate that. But anybody looking at this, Democrat or Republican, has got to say, wait a second, this is exactly what people have been saying about the Clintons, about the foundation, about pay for play, about paying essentially for access. And she didn't want to lose the $12 million donation, so she sent the rest of the fam over to collect it so they could keep the cash. So then you ask yourself, does this sound like someone that I want to have in the Oval Office that's willing to sell access? You know, during the time Secretary of State, Senator, etc. And you look at the actions, you look at these leaks that, yes, were theft, piracy, and say, but nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that there are truthful elements in here, and then how does it affect your decision and who you choose for president?
Well, I just think it's possible you would say that this lady wanted to raise money for the foundation. I don't necessarily see it as corruption, but I see how it opens the door to that conversation.
Yes, you posited two options.
The FBI found Hillary to be extremely careless with classified information on her non-secured private email server while Secretary of State. In addition to all we've been talking about, we're also now learning that Clinton actually lectured her own staff about the importance of cybersecurity back in 2010, telling them to do one thing while she herself was doing another thing. But I'll give you, Eric, the chance to say, was this hypocrisy or what?
Well, it looks like she just read a statement that someone wrote for her, and she had absolutely no idea what was actually going on in her own administration. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made a joke about wiping the server clean with a towel, or now we find out about, bashing old BlackBerries to get rid of them, or the fact that she had 13 BlackBerries. Can I just very quickly, I know we're going to run out of time, did you know something that consistent about all those deals, these pay-to-play deals? They're all with governments that are either involved in refining or producing oil. Algeria, the Russians, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Morocco. All of these countries, she realized that she has access and she could set up deals and sold the access to American corporations for the money coming into the Clinton Foundation. Now, she said there would be no indication of impropriety whatsoever if she was going to be Secretary of State. She promised Obama that. These are examples of the exact opposite, her doing something completely different from what she promised.
Well, I don't know that it's impropriety, but Dana, I'm very interested in your take. Do you think that given that video, and you've been in government, that's an example of somebody just reading a statement as Eric suggested, or do you think, wait a second, how can you take make this speech and do something else in your own life?
Well, both, and I think that's actually the concern about her or any leader that is able to tell you should do it one way, and then think that they are above the law and that they don't have to do the same. And it's like they can separate themselves from the rest of the American public. So I'm sure that when she was getting $12 million from the King of Morocco, they're thinking, well, we're just doing it for the good of the greater good, and this is all going to be fine. They don't realize that if anybody else had done the same thing, they would be screaming about it, right? They would use that to attack them. And the same thing on cybersecurity. Yes, it was every government employee goes through this training. You do here at corporations as well. In addition, everybody that works at the State Department that has a clearance has to sign a document that says that they got a briefing on how to handle classified info. She's a Secretary of State. She makes a terrible, reckless decision, and it almost ruined her candidacy. Well,
we'll see more. Still to come, Facebook Friday. But the Fast to 7, that's up next.
It's back time for the fastest 6 minutes or so on television. 3 droll stories, 7 dynamic minutes, 1 dexterous host. I'll take it.
Droll?
Droll. Fun. Good. First up, 71.6 million people watched the third and final presidential debate Wednesday night. Fox News Channel was the most watched television network, cable, broadcast, and other. FNC's Chris Wallace moderated a flawless 90-minute debate, receiving wide acclaim from both sides of the aisle. Chris did his first post-game interviews today.
I heard this voice asking these questions, and I kept thinking, who is that? Because it I didn't realize it was me. It was such an out-of-body experience. But about 10 minutes in, I kind of relaxed into it. You had to be super aware, and this was a surprise because I had prepared the questions in tremendous detail, tremendous focus. I got a great researcher, and we were, ready with that. But to a certain degree, that's just a game plan. It's not by any means a strict curriculum, and you have to just go with the punches.
All right, I'm glad to be on the same team as Chris, and he'll be on the Factor tonight as well. Go clockwise, starting with KG on this one.
Yeah, I thought he was magnificent. I mean, I didn't see him sweat at all. I mean, he started off strong and focused, and he got into, 4 buckets right away, get the questioning. And it was extraordinary. They should show that in colleges about how to debate.
Juan?
Ask questions.
I was so pleased for him and also his great researcher, Lori Martin. They did a fantastic job.
Great team.
And the early concern was, it's Fox News. Well, he's going to have such a slant. You know what? I thought Chris was tough on both of them. I think that's why you're getting praise from every direction. I saw a comment that said, that strange sound you hear? It's the discussion of substance. Mm-hmm. Boy, was that absent in the 3 previous debates, and it allowed Chris to be a standout, stellar.
Bipartisan support for Chris Wallace after that. Washington Post, New York Times, etc.
Yeah, everybody. And actually, sometimes in the media, your harshest critics can be your peers. But other media networks across the board thought it was a great debate. And he'll be back in the saddle already again on Sunday. He's got, I think, Kellyanne Conway and then his panel. I don't know who else he has, but he's not like taking a vacation.
Juan Williams.
Greg Guffel, your thoughts on Chris?
I think I might throw up. I mean, are we laying it a little too thick here? It's not like
We've only just begun.
It's not like he landed on Mars, people. Actually, no, he did a good job. The reation why I thought he did a great job, he's like the butcher who knows who's next in line. Like whenever you go to a butcher and you're just going, I know that guy's not paying attention. That woman just cut in front of me. He doesn't even have to look at the numbers. He just knew who was there, and he did not get distracted by acrimony. He kept it to the issues.
He was great. Don't you think too? His father, if he were alive, would be so proud of him.
Definitely.
Oh, surprise, surprise! Apparently, Americans are patriotic. A new poll shows anger at Colin Kaepernick is significantly driving down NFL ratings. Now, Dana, your thoughts on this one? You're the NFL
I think I am interested in this. I thought, remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Supreme Court Justice, she weighed in initially on 60 Minutes in an interview with Katie Couric and said she thought that it was a wrong thing to do, that it's not good. And then the backlash against her was such that she apologizes for saying that. So the controversy has more been around the issues all around the NFL, and there's another one today. No rest for Joe Lockhart over there at the NFL, who's now the spokesperson. There's allegations of domestic abuse by a player at the Giants who just got re-signed, and there's questions again in that. So they're facing New York Times front page story tomorrow, and I think it does weigh down the brand.
Good job, Sports Center.
Thank you.
Dana, Sports Center.
The 49ers were playing Buffalo last week. Kaepernick took a knee for the anthem, and there was an officer saluting the flag at that moment.
I love it when the market reacts naturally to events. It's like a cat coughing up a fur ball. And in this case, the fur ball was an attention-seeking political protest performed by a fading star. What Colin Kaepernick tried to do is what fading pop stars do, seek relevance in the dying light, and it didn't work.
All right, they want me to go on to this one for you two on this one.
But I got the Niners in my divorce. I think I should be entitled to 10 seconds.
Literally the whole team.
Yeah, the whole team. And I would like to trade him to the Raiders or, maybe Philly.
Well, I will say this on that story before you go. You know who has the highest selling jersey in the NFL right now?
Yes.
Colin Kaepernick. So, you know what? I think a lot of it is too many games.
It's for
Thursday
Halloween.
night,
It's
Monday night.
They want to put on a scary face.
True.
Speaking of that, I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of scary movies.
Or zombies.
I'm not overly superstitious. Clowns, however, creep me out. Thankfully, at least 2 places, including a county in Mississippi and a town in North Carolina, have banned adult clown costumes for certain events this Halloween. Now, we'll start with you guys who got short.
I really have no appetite for clowns. Right?
Scary, horrible.
Yeah, they're not fun. They're not interesting. I never hired them for a party, and now people just want the costume because it's banned,
Mr. Wan?
Homie, don't play this. I don't want any clowns around.
Wow.
But I must say, I don't understand why the government has to get involved in banning clowns. It seems like way over the top. I mean, if someone wants to dress up as a clown, you're supposed to say it's illegal?
All right, well, let's
Speaking
try
like a free market guy.
Let's try a thought experiment. What if you belong to a religion, and the religion required that its disciples or its believers put on pancake makeup and wore baggy clothes and had funny little horns that made noises? This would be clownist, and we would be outraged over it. By the way, this just shows how media are a sucker for trends. If nothing happens, if there's one incident, nothing happens. If there's 3 incidents, it's a trend. And if there's 4 incidents, all of a sudden you have the government involved.
Yeah, and I think it's being driven by media coverage.
That's all it is.
Right, yeah.
Pathetic.
I would just say that I know that my good friend Jeannie Mamo, our friend here,
Wait a second.
Jeannie Mamo, she's in North Carolina this weekend. She will be so happy about this.
Oh, good.
She is not for the clowns.
We did this
Leave
on
the clowns
O'Reilly.
alone. I'm a clown.
Hard-hitting segment.
Stay right there. Facebook Friday, next.
So true. We're making it. First question from Facebook Friday from Chuck L. If you could be a fly on the wall, what wall would you be on? Let's go this way, Dana. What wall?
I'm going to say on like the International Space Station because I'll never go to space. I'm really kind of creeped out by going either underwater or up in space. So if I could be a fly on the wall and I was safe, I would be interested.
That's interesting, Eric.
I would be the fly on the wall for the production meeting for the Homeland and the series. 'Cause I love they pivot in the middle of a season and they re-edit and recut stuff to make it topical. Love the show.
Well, I would have said that I would like to be a fly on the wall in the beauty contestants' dressing room.
But you can't say
Donald
that.
Trump's already been in there, so Donald Trump beat me. But
I
will
liked
say-
your first choice. We didn't hear.
But I think ideally you would say this week debate prep. I would really like to see if Donald Trump did no debate prep or what he was doing before this debate prep. Did he get a question about? Will you, in fact, respect the results of the election? I don't know. But I would say also, all this WikiLeaks hacking that we've been talking about, they're basically a fly on the wall inside. It's even worse than the fly. They're inside people's thoughts and private communication.
Yeah, they're going through people's stuff. Kimberly.
All right, so I think that I would like to be a fly on the wall, but it might take a long time and involve like a week or 2 or 3, so I'm not sure how that'd work out in close quarters. But on Chris Wallace's wall.
Oh, interesting.
He was
You're really
and going over.
You're crushing hard on Chris.
Well, it is what it is, and I'd rather be transparent about it.
You are. If I could be a fly on the wall, would be Ken Wall, the star of Wise Guys and the great film The Wanderers.
Clever.
Thank you.
Not the Mexican wall?
No, not the Mexican. Or I could be on the wall of a fly paper
You should have
factory.
picked that.
The Mexican side of the wall. See if they're really paying for it.
There you go. Okay, we'll go
my
this way
God.
from Brittany.
It just got 10 feet
All right,
higher.
KG, if you were running for president, what would your campaign slogan be?
Kill them all.
Crush it.
Kill them all. Wow.
You know how I feel, right?
Yes. I don't know what them are, but I'll go with that.
Terrorists.
Okay, good.
Radical jihadists.
I wanted the footnote there.
Remember if I was, what was it? Was it not naked? What was
I like that. I mean,
invisible.
Yes.
And I wanted to go into roundup, and I changed it to
Juan, what's your slogan if you were running for president?
In honor of Greg, I would say rock and hard roll. How about that? We are going to rock. It's hard rock, right?
Right.
And we're going to really roll here because we're going to win and rock so much. You're going to be tired of rocking and rolling. That's what
There you go.
Is that like a commercial?
All right.
I already wrote it.
What was it?
Wake Up America.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I got it. Maybe someday I'll be able to use that.
Yeah, 2020.
I think I would quote Todd Beamer from Flight 93, Let's roll.
Very
Wait
good.
a second. You stole that. You can't. This is the problem with politics.
Let's roll is not rock and roll.
Mine would be Make America Greg Again.
Oh, there you go.
So only have to change a little thing on the hat. 2 letters. Make America Greg Again. You could save a lot of money. Last one. Let's start
what
with you.
about me?
Oh.
The art of the Guilfoyle.
Wait, we just did you. All right.
Oh,
From Jillian L. Start with you, Eric.
I can't remember what
Other
it
than
was, though.
Family Feud, what is one activity that the 5 of you would like to do together? Keep it clean, Juan. Wait, I'm gonna.
I don't know. We travel well together,
Yeah.
but not on a bus. No, definitely not on a bus. I don't know. Yeah. No.
I think we should go bowling.
How about karaoke?
Bowling.
Yeah, karaoke's good.
Oh, no.
I went bowling
No
one
karaoke?
time. I would love to be in one of the jumpy castles with all of you, and I would aim for you first.
Oh, well, there you go. I had that nightmare or dream. Yes,
did.
Dana?
I want to take everybody to the American Country Music Awards. That would be fun. Though we have to go back to Vegas.
What a. Juan.
Nobody's taking,
silence.
no takers?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I liked it except for the excessive smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, that was very different. It's almost a shock to me to go into places and they're smoking these days. And I think, boy, my life has changed because everybody used to smoke.
Juan, did you want to answer the question?
I wanted to really go to the pool. That was the problem.
No, but this is like, you know what? I'm going to kill this question out.
Our viewers are the flies on our wall.
Yeah, you know what I would do? I would like to have all of us sit together around a table and talk about political issues. That's what I think would be great.
What would you call it?
I think I'd call it the 5.
Yeah.
One more thing is up next.
The 10.
It's time now for one more thing. Greg.
All right, GG show tomorrow night. I got Terry Shepard and the return of Ed Henry. That's 2 first names. All right, let's do this real quick. Greg's Halloween tips. I'm so tired of the same old cliched costumes. When people dress up as animals, they always go as like lions and tigers and dogs. You know, why don't you try something different? Dress up like a lemur. Here is footage from last year's Fox News Halloween party. No, it's Bill Hemmer. Bill Hemmer as a lemur. He did an excellent job, and look how adorable. Hemmer is adorable.
That's a good little lemur.
Yeah, really.
I'm going to go next. So we've done a lot of praise of Chris Wallace, deservedly so, but I also want to thank the crew. We all want to thank the crew.
Yep.
They show up early. We get there, and we're like, trash the place, and then they stay behind and they have to break it all down. This is their group shot in Vegas. They've been amazing this past year and a half, so we want to thank the crew. And also, I have treats. This is not Kimberly's food court, but it's sort of
hijacked
food court and business. Dunkin' Donuts had their quarterly call today, and they said they have a hole in their projected earnings. Things have not been as well as they would like.
I get it.
A hole, I get it. And they blame the overall dampening effect of the presidential election. Apparently, people are not feeling like they want to buy Dunkin', but
and this is a Boston cream.
Can you give me some of that, please?
I will. Yeah, but it's so delicious.
Give her the first bite.
Eat out of that.
And while she does that, Eric, you go next.
How do you blame the presidential election on coffee sales?
Apparently, people are disappointed.
I think you want more of it. Keep you away. Oh, maybe because it's so exciting you don't need coffee to stay awake. Okay, so we heard about a cyber attack today.
It's delicious.
You're about to say it's called the servers. What happens is foreign servers come in and they blast these sites, so it feels like it's fake traffic. It feels like it's real traffic, and it blocks everyone else's use. But today, Amazon, Netflix, Tumblr, Twitter, Spotify, a bunch of other Airbnb, a few other, even
what about
PayPal. PayPal, I don't know about that one.
What?
PayPal had
I don't even know what it is.
Service problems, interruptions, and they're trying to figure out right now if it's a nation state.
What's wrong
You have
with
no idea what's going on. No, this is very hard to finish. You don't know what Grindr is? Wait, can we say?
Can we start over again?
Know if Grindr was involved.
I mouthed it to her. Yeah.
I didn't know what it was.
You are so inappropriate.
I just hear
See what happens when hanging out with Gutfeld.
Kimberly, can you save us?
It's a sandwich. You order a Grindr in Philly.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. What's the other
My
one?
turn now? All right. Let's go bald. Bald eagle. All right, so we have a situation here because this has turned into America's favorite pet video. I don't even know.
We're not even trying anymore.
No, so this bald eagle flew through the windshield on Florida's Turnpike near St. Cloud. Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Julio Velez carefully approached the eagle because they can be feisty and put him in the back of the car. He's going to be released. He's going to live. They're going to tag him, put a little band on his little leg.
I wonder if they took his head and helped him into the
Fly and represent America.
That's it for us. This was a great show. Special report is up next.